Drives one in the air. Deep right field. It's got a chance. Grand slam. Way back it might be. It could be. Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win. Holy cow.
The Dingers podcast is on the air. I am your host, Jake. I'm filling in for Mitch tonight. He's a little under the weather. With me, as always, we got Jeff. We got our buddy Ian Mahan. And we are extremely honored tonight on the first day of spring training to be joined by the third baseman for your Chicago Cubs, Mr. Patrick Wisdom. Patrick, thank you for joining us, man.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm excited. This is cool. I mean, what an intro.
Yeah.
That got me juiced.
It's new. It's new. We debuted it our last episode. So shout out to our video producer, Brian Lefevre, for throwing that together. Yeah, it gets us hyped too.
That was nice.
Yeah,
wow.
That was incredible.
Oh, yeah, I got goosebumps and everything. Like, let's go.
Hey, brick wall, come at us.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey, I'm going to start us off because Patrick, having you on is pretty cool for me. You and I have talked, a little bit throughout the years. You posted a song of mine on Instagram, and that was great. Like, it was super fun, and it was really great. But last year, you actually took the time out of your really busy schedule to make a video for some friends of my wife and I's. Their son, Patrick, great first name, had a pretty life-altering surgery out in Chicago, and they have kind of adopted Chicago as their second city. But the video was right before they were welcoming a second child into their family. Weston has arrived, so we have Patrick and Weston now, and I'm happy to inform you that they will be out at Wrigley Field for the first time on May 19th to root you guys on against the Pirates.
Oh,
so
fun.
Coming full circle, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to do that. It was really kind, and they really cherished it.
Oh yeah, of course. Happy to do that. I'm glad Patrick's doing well after surgery, and glad Weston's a happy and healthy baby. Look forward to seeing them at Wrigley.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be a good time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Right on. Yeah, no, we're super excited for the season. I mean, it's crazy that spring training is already here. First game is Thursday or Friday?
Ours is Friday.
Oh,
yeah.
Looks like I'm not going to work Friday.
Yeah, we're all calling in, right?
Yeah.
Patrick's going to work on Friday. He's just coming off the off season. How do you spend your off season? I mean, we can get into kind of like some of the stuff with your game that you were honing in on, but what do you like to do in your free time? Obviously, you've got your family, you've got a newborn son. Congratulations!
Thank you.
What do you like to do in the off season in your free time, man?
Yeah. So spend it with the fam. Going to the parks, doing what the girls need to do, dropping our oldest off at school. I mean, it's only 3 days a week, but she loves it. So then it gives us some time to spend with our younger ones, more one-on-one time. But yeah, it's just like hanging around the house. We kind of just don't do much in terms of like travel wise. We just, especially with the newborn, right before Halloween, we just stuck at home. And I mean, the off season went by so fast with the newborn. Like, I can't believe we're already down here in Arizona and the games start, at the end of this week. It's mind boggling to me. But the off seasons are so fun just because it's our family. We get to see like my parents, her parents. They're all around, and so. I think we really cherish those moments because during the season it's so hustle and bustle and in and out of the cities, and we're just traveling all the time. And so we use that off season time to really just relax and, be at home.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I could totally imagine with all the travel that you guys have to do in a 162 game season that it's nice to have a permanent home base for the off season.
Yeah, no doubt. Like there are definitely times where, early on I get home and I'm like, I've been home for like a week now. I feel like I need to like pack and like we're getting ready to go somewhere again. But it's nice to just settle in at home and do things around our town and just enjoy where we're at.
Yeah, definitely. How obviously it's different for every player. how much training do you do in the off season to stay in shape? And were there any specific things that you were focused on, that from last season that you learned in your tape, matchups, what's some stuff that you were working on?
Yeah, good question. Off season is a great time for that stuff. And, workout wise, it's in my garage. I have a little makeshift gym in my garage, and it makes it easy with the kids. They can come out and, mix in and play. And I don't have to like drive to the gym and then drive home, and, cuts out some of that time. And then when I do baseball stuff, it's just down the road. Or I was at the University of Washington up in Seattle. Because the head coach there, Jason Kelly, he's brothers with our hitting coach, Dustin Kelly. So it kind of worked out well. Yeah, I know. It's really cool. Both great dudes. So it worked out really well, and they're so welcoming. So was there doing a lot of baseball stuff. And then in terms of skills to hone in, I did the drive line assessment just to kind of see where I was at, how I was moving. If they could give me some nuggets that I could use and that I found or that I would find beneficial, and which I did. I did find some nuggets. And I saw some other guys go in there too, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, there's something to it if all these guys are going in there.
Right.
And I'm thankful I did. I found some value in it. And so now, just taking that to like actual competition, right? That's like the ultimate test, is getting in the box and facing a pitcher. So we'll see how it goes. And, I'm excited for these spring training at bats, and I think that's what we all look forward to, right? Like when we train in the off season, it's all cage work and, on field machine. You can do all those fancy things and funky drills. But when it comes down to it, when you get in that box, you got to trust the work and just trust yourself.
For sure.
So I know I was really shocked when Ian texted me when I was in the hospital about the Craig Counsell signing. Was the team super surprised by that move? And kind of what's the general attitude of the clubhouse, and how has Craig been received?
Yeah, I think we were all shocked, just as shocked as you guys. I saw it on the internet, and I remember texting Jan Gomes because he's kind of an OG, like he knows everything that goes on. And I'm like, "Hey, is this for real?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know what to say."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I have no idea. Like that's crazy. If so." And then like texted me back a little bit later. He's like, "Yeah, I guess it is." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then like, texting some other people and just like, "Wait, what? That just really happened?" It caught us all off guard for sure. In terms of how he's been received, I think he's been received really well. Coming from a division opponent, a big time rival, right? So close to Chicago.
Yeah.
I kind of anticipated it being a little awkward at times, like, "Hey, I know you."
Yeah.
But also, I think that's a really good thing because he's seen all of us and he knows all of us, knows what we do well, knows what we don't do well. So I think he kind of has an edge in terms of being a new manager with us. But yeah, he seems like a great guy. He understands the game, and today was our first like full whole team meeting with pitchers, catchers, and position players. And I think he's got a good grasp on what it takes to win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was definitely like shocking for all Cubs fans, but it was like there was kind of a period where it was like coming to acceptance, because obviously from 2016 we all love David Ross, and he's always going to be a World Series champion with the Cubs. But yeah, just definitely excitement over what Counsell brings to the mix now.
Yeah, it was so strange, but yeah, this is where we're at right now, and it's our squad. Let's go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would like to preface that before I texted Jeff while he was in the hospital, I did say, "How's your heart?" Because what I'm about to text you is,
Yeah. I was 1 or 2 days from major cardiothoracic surgery, and I was still pretty heavily doped up on pharmaceutical narcotics. Like I'm vibrating like a tuning fork, and Ian's texting me this Craig Counsell news, and I have no idea.
I could have told him I was the new manager, and he might have believed it.
Messing with the guy who's looping is like,
yeah, there you
come
go.
on. Well, are you all right,
Um,
Jeff? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's great. Everything went better than I thought it would. My recovery has been solid. So I'm
Oh,
almost
good.
I'm probably 85-90% of where I was before. So
Oh, good.
yeah,
Good.
it's my second open heart surgery. First one was I was a little kid. I was 9 years old. I'll be 45 on Friday. I got a new valve. They did a myectomy on my septum, and they took a chunk of my aorta out. So I'm a brand new man.
Wow. Yeah,
So
you are a brand new man.
feel free on Friday at your first at bat if you want to hit one over the fence for a middle-aged guy. That's perfectly fine. Just go right ahead.
I like the idea.
Perfectly fine. Yeah,
Well,
I like that idea too.
on top of, Craig coming into the clubhouse, there's some new faces on the player side of things too.
Mhm.
Is there anybody off the top of your head, kind of just first reaction, that you're super excited to work alongside with this year? Whether that's, ribbon Shota a little bit, pranking him if that's something that you all do, or even some new signings today. Even just, eh, kind of first reaction. Who are you most excited to get down to work with?
Probably Shota, yeah. I'm seeing some of
Cool.
his highlight films. He's got electric stuff, and just hearing the whispers of the pitchers, after he throws his bullpens, and just how they're talking about his stuff and how he goes about his business and his work. And I'm like, dang, all right, this guy's the real deal. So I'm excited to see it. Hopefully, I can get like a live AB off him just to really get a true scope of what it's like. Hopefully take him deep. No, I'm kidding. Well, maybe not really.
Oh yeah, man, humble him.
Yeah, come
welcome
on.
to the team.
No.
Welcome to Chicago, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm on your team, so that's good.
There you go.
I'm only kidding, but yeah, probably Shota. Definitely, like you said, try to rib him a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, because I think one of the cultural differences too. Like, he doesn't know if we're joking, if we're serious. He doesn't know me from anybody else. So being able to kind of have that edge on when it comes to the jokes or the pranks. I love Saya. Saya's super cool. We have a good relationship, so I think he'll understand. But
Totally.
it'll be nice to play behind Shota. I'm excited. He's one heck of a talent.
So today we saw a highlight from Nico where he stuck with the play and he threw it the first well on the run, kind of between his legs. What's it like getting to work with players like Nico and Dansby in the infield?
Yeah, so Nico's a workhorse for sure. He is meticulous about his work. He's very detailed. He's very direct when he works. He's got a plan to his madness for sure. So smart, so aware of the game. It's pretty incredible. I love to watch him work, and then for him to get rewarded with that Gold Glove this year, truly amazing. He's one of my favorite players for sure. And then Dansby is incredible too because he's so open with, helping you out or pointers or talking through the game. He sees the game in such I want to say relaxed view. I feel like his heart rate never gets up. I'm like, geez, no moment's too big for him. But just nice to be able to pick their brains about things, and they both bring something different to the table when you ask them. And I really respect that about both of them.
yeah. I'd say all Cubs fans would say that Nico got snubbed 2 seasons ago. He wasn't even nominated for.
It's crazy. I texted him too. I'm like, dude, that
shortstop.
should. Yeah, you just transitioned. This is your first year, from second the year before. Now you're playing short, and you were excellent. You should have got it, or at least been in the running.
It was
come on.
It was a really interesting conversation on Cubs social media because obviously with the shortstop free agents that were on the board, there were a lot of fans that wanted to see one of the big names signed. Obviously, we end up with Dansby. I say we. That's my fandom. I talk about the team as if I'm on it. Say we. Obviously, the Cubs you guys end up with Dansby. But there were some fans too, like when free agency was dragging on, obviously not as long as it's dragged on this year, but as free agency was dragging on, people were saying, well, hey, we've got Nico. Like he did it. He did it this past season. He should have been a Gold Glove. nominee, if not winner. And the point was like, yeah, but now you've got this middle infield defense. You got 2 Gold Glovers up, and who knows? I mean, hear from Shota down the road here. That could be one of the reasons why he signed with the Cubs, knowing that he's got those guys behind him. And whoever ends up at first base, that's going to be. I mean, obviously you've played some first base. It's going to be interesting to see how the positions shake out in the infield this spring.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. To your point, basically we have 2 shortstops up the middle, and and I think the fact that the Cubs knew Nico is so good at second and short, they could go after the big name shortstops or a big name second baseman, and
Right.
now Nico is a big name second baseman, right? Like,
yeah,
hit one of our better leadoff hitters or second hitter. He's at the top of the lineup and then does it in the infield, stealing bases, scoring runs. I mean, the ultimate package for sure. So I mean, they're great both up the middle. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think he's still
pretty
slept
fortunate.
on nationally. I think Nico's still slept on nationally. I think he's gonna. I think if he can repeat what he did last year, I mean, he's got the league on notice.
For sure.
One of my favorite things about spring, I haven't been out to spring training yet, but seeing videos of Cubs alumni. I mean, you see obviously like people like Billy Williams, Mark Grace, Sutcliffe's always out there, Fergie Jenkins. So keeping that in mind, like those guys in mind, have you been able to pick the brains of any of those alumni? And has anything that you've learned from them shaped your philosophy as either on the field or off the field? I'm sure they've got a lot of great, valuable knowledge about life outside of baseball and how to balance everything.
Yeah, for sure. So Sut is always in uniform and always around, and always open to give you some advice, whether it's needed or unneeded. But no, Sut's great. Like when he's serious, like you definitely know that, like he's trying to help you, and so you're like, okay, like he's actually telling me something like that's serious, and he's really trying to help me. He's not joking around. So I like that about Sut, and he does bring a lot of value. And like, hey, like I see you doing this in the box, or like, dude, you're super late. So, and we even had those conversations during the season too. And he'll come down after in the clubhouse, and he's like, dude, like, whatever the case is, well, you should be looking for this pitch. Like, it looks like you're looking for that pitch, or they've been like pounding you inside and then throwing you away. Like, he's able to see it from a different perspective. And when he says stuff, it carries weight because he's Rick Sutcliffe, right? And then Fergie just got here today, so that's always cool to see. Every time he shakes your hand, I feel like his hands go around your hands. His hands are so big. But like to your point, yeah, having these legends around, having these Hall of Famers around, it's encouraging. It shows a lot of confidence in the organization that they're still around, that they want them around, so we can do it the right way and what it takes to win and to be great ball players too. And so it's always nice just, sitting around the cage at batting practice, being able to talk to, Billy Williams or his routine, or Fergie and how he pitched certain guys. And you learn so much just by chatting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So when you were a young player kind of coming up through the minors, and you just got your first invites to like major league spring training camp, was there a veteran that like took you under his wing to kind of help show you how to be a professional ball player and balance baseball and family?
Yeah. So I came up with the Cardinals. I'm
not going to hold that against you.
I know. Yeah. Out of my control really, but I'm super thankful just because I was in a clubhouse, in spring training with Adam Wainwright, Yachty, Matt Carpenter, Matt Holliday, Alan Craig, Lance Lynn, like all these, I can go on and name all these guys that played a significant role in shaping me on how to be a professional, both on and off the field. And they just went about it in a way that was, I guess, like the right way to do it in terms of being a leader, not in your face, not blowing you up, being stern when like you messed up or you were out of line or you didn't come up to the standard. Because that was a big thing with the Cardinals. It was, everything was to a high standard, the way you dressed, the way you showed up to the field, what you wore on the field, how you did things on the field. It was a very high standard. So, but those guys particularly had such a big role in showing me what it was like to do the right things both on and off the field.
That's yeah. I mean, the names that you are able to
It's
pull
just
from your experience, you're sitting there and you're like, man, that's an incredible roster of individuals. Just yeah, Cardinals players, but
Yeah,
like, wow, like still
Respect
that's
for
sure.
Cubs
incredible.
fans still.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
just
Right.
it's obviously a
huge.
rivalry, but like Wayno, especially like listening to Wayno talk
Yeah,
baseball is fantastic. And any Cubs
Yeah.
fan
absolutely.
who says otherwise is bullshitting. Like, there's no way.
Oh, dude, for sure. Yeah, and like, when we started, and then when I came over to the Cubs, and then we play in St. Louis, like, hey, no friends between the lines. Like, let's go. Like, I say what's up to Yachty, and then he's freaking throwing me a 3-0 slider and curveball. I'm like, or cutter. I'm like, dude, what are you? Come on, like it's
Yeah,
3-0.
no
Freaking
breaks.
groove the heater. And he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, Poppy, I know you're swinging. I'm like, geez, like, let's go. But yeah, so yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to those guys just in shaping what it's like to be a pro on and off the field.
absolutely. Well, and
Yeah.
there's so much talk about your physicality as a player. You are quite a physical specimen. Watching you hit a ball is something I'll never understand. Like, where did it go and how did it go that far?
Yeah.
Um, but that's only that. I feel like that is truly only half the game. And I'm asking this kind of on behalf of Mitch here because there's a lot of lessons to learn from baseball just in general or any sport that you do play. So it's I guess the question here is, what do you do to work on the mental side of baseball? So, the sport itself is filled with so much failure and success on both sides of the coin. If we could always be successful, that's great. Um, but Mitch, for example, he's got some kids and he's working on how to teach his kids that it's okay to fail and how to grow from that kind of failure. Um, and the interest, I think for youth and kids coming up is like, what more are you learning about yourself other than just how to be really good at this sport? So, the question is, how do you deal with it? And what would you advise to youth, especially young kids in Chicago, in the city of Chicago, who see you, look up to you, and truly enjoy watching you play?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And I wished I would have known. I would say like maybe second, third year in the pro ball, like like the mental fortitude it took. Coming from college where you play maybe a Tuesday and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you got like the rest of the time to kind of iron things out if it didn't go well, or keep riding that high when things are going well. But when you get into pro ball, it's every day, and if it's not going well, it cannot go well for a long period of time if you let it, and it's easy to let it happen. But also on the flip side, like you said, with the successes, it's easy to let that get to you too, and then all of a sudden that cliff happens real fast, and you got nowhere to go. You got nowhere to turn to. You don't know how to sustain yourself. Both in the middle, I would say. So to answer your question, I have like a leadership mental coach, that someone that I met when I was with the Cardinals. He doesn't work with them anymore. He works with other organizations and stuff like that. But I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I feel like I'm lacking in this area. Like, you want to chat? You want to like just talk like normal? And he said, yeah, absolutely. Like, let's do that. And it's not. I'm not laying on a couch, with my eyes closed and talking about my problems. It's
Sure.
it's
Wouldn't
more
judge
than
you if
that,
you
right?
were. No
Right,
Yeah.
judging
and
if you were.
I'm not judging anybody that does that, but just trying to paint a picture. And he's just like,
Yeah.
"Yo, what's up, man? Like, doing okay?" Or being able to kind of shift the focus off the field and kind of address stuff that way. When it gets into the field and into the nitty gritty, are like I got the tools in my bag to handle what's thrown at me. And I think that's a general. It's for life too, right? It's not just baseball, but like you said, like
Totally.
there's so much that happens in baseball that you can translate into life. Dealing with failure, we can do everything right. We can swing at the right pitch, hit it right on the barrel at 120 miles an hour. It's caught, maybe lined out to the center fielder. I mean, that's where you practice to hit the ball, like on a line through the center of the field. and now you're out. You're 0 for 1. People in the paper didn't know that it was perfect. You just see that you're 0 for 1 or whatever. And
Right.
how do you handle that? Like, you literally did every single thing right that you could, and you didn't get rewarded. You're out. And how that happens in life all the time. You can be the best person, the nicest person, be the greatest at your job, and you get no rewards. Like, well, what else can I do? I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do more. And that's the case. You don't have to do more. You just gotta pull the reins back a little bit, slow it down, and just get right after it again. Just keep going. Each at bat's new, and like I think translating that to life would be each day is new. Each little task is new. Just because you fail at one at bat doesn't mean you're a failure of a hitter. You're a bad hitter. It's like, all right, well, I got out, and we talked about that a lot in the dugout, in the cages. It's just separating each at bat, each pitch. I mean, I can go on a huge tangent about this stuff, but I think to kids, it's like failure is part of the game. Like, Hall of Famers get out 7 out of 10 times. That's crazy. In any other facet of life, like, you're wrong 7 out of 10 times, you're probably not gonna be in that job anymore.
No.
You fail 7 out of 10 times, you get the wrong the specs of building a house wrong 7 out of 10 times, like, no one's gonna hire you. Like,
Right.
it's crazy. Like, you can think about it, but in baseball,
Even in other sports,
yeah.
right? Like a 30%
Right.
success rate. And like, if a passer is only completing 30, like quarterbacks only completing 30% of their passes, no way, man.
It's not going to last long.
So true.
No.
So true. So if you can you have to like shift your perspective. And I know it's hard. The game is really hard, and like, you practice so much, and also, like, I heard this the other day, is like, you get mad or we get upset. Talking about myself, I get mad or upset, not because I got out. It's because I know deep down, like, I'm better than that person standing on the mound, and I got myself out because I wanted it so darn bad. I wanted to hit him so bad that I was just swinging at whatever, because I know I'm better than him, and like, throw it in here. I'm gonna prove to you that I'm better than you, and that's just the wrong way to go about it. And like, when someone told me, I'm like, dang, that is so true. Like, it doesn't matter if I got out. It's how I got out, and I got myself out because I'm white knuckling up there and like creating sawdust, from that movie. What is it, Rookie of the Year, when he's like the hitter, So yeah, I know that was a long tangent, but hey, like, yeah, I think there's so much that can go into that.
It's it's an important part of all sports, the mental health aspect of it, and it's one of those things that's frankly, I don't think it's talked about enough. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes on you as individuals and people, and how you all handle it is pretty admirable. So I think it's more than impressive, the work that you guys put in, and just being able to handle the attention and the eyes, and knowing that there's people, for example, like you said, saying, oh, well, he was 0 for 1. I don't care how he became 0 for 1. Like, they don't care. They don't understand the flip side of what went into it. So I mean, I think having any sort of discourse around mental health for professional athletes is super, super important. And I think, everything you just said there is so vitally important for other people to hear too. Like, yeah. It's
and I
impressive.
lean on my family. I lean on my family a lot. And I'm super lucky to have them with me the whole year. It's such a good shift change and perspective change. When I get home, and the kids, they don't care like what I did at the field. I mean, they think it's so cool that I play baseball, but like, I'm dad. They're like, hey, come do chalk with me on the ground, or can you turn on the water hose so I can like run through it? Like, they were doing that today, and it's like, they like care, right? They care like how my day was, but at the end of the day, like, they don't care if I hit 4 home runs or struck out 4 times. They're like, hey, dad, like, dad, I need you here, dad, this. I'm like, yeah. And so that's so like, I'm so fortunate to have that family to do that and lean on them too, especially in like tough times when you're not hitting and you're like, dang, like, man, I can't do anything, or I freaking stink. But it's easy. They're so good at just snapping me out of it.
So what kind of thoughts or feelings did you have when you were in St. Louis and you're kind of stuck behind a lot of guys and weren't like getting a lot of opportunities, and then you became a Cub and you just kind of blew onto the scene and started hitting balls out of every ballpark?
Yeah,
like,
I think about that. That'd be a mental challenge. I mean, you were ready, man. Your numbers showed that you were
right.
ready.
Like, how much patience did you have left, like, just waiting for your chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I've thought about this before, looking back, and I see like some old videos and stuff, and I was like, whoa, like I just felt like more mature at that time. Because I think I was on like really starting to understand that I just had to be where I was at, and it was kind of in my control, you know, to how I played and stuff like that. But ultimately, it was out of my control. Like I could do I was doing all I could. Um, and then so once I kind of like really honed that in and resonated on that and really gnawed on it for a while, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna be here and be present with what I'm at. I'm not even gonna like I'll follow the big league team, see how they're doing, follow my buddies and whatnot. But I'm not looking at like injuries or like who's not doing well. And like I'm not gonna try to play GM because ultimately that's not like a good way to go about it. It just creates so much anxiety in your head and stress that's so unneeded in this game. Um, so I really just started to learn how to be present where I was at. I'm like, I'm gonna be here with my homies. Like I had a ton of fun in AAA with those teams. Those 3 years in Memphis. Um, and we had some good squads. So I think that made it easy too. And our manager Stubby Clapp, he was in Memphis. He's a first
Yeah.
base coach now for them. Awesome, and really
A
helped me
legend.
kind of understand. Yeah, really helped me understand a lot of that. So when I got called up, I was so shocked and surprised. I was like, "Wait, what? Like me? What?" It's just like, for what? Like for who? What? Who's going? What? Yeah, it was quite the whirlwind. But I think this is testament to being like super present with where I was, and that that's definitely helped. Uh, you know, each year after that, and kind of helped me on my career.
Gotcha. So during spring training, you're getting ready for the season and all that jazz, and it's a long season. It's February 19th today, and you could play until November 3rd if everything
Let's
goes as
go.
planned.
Fingers
Right?
crossed. Let's go, baby.
So, like,
Yeah.
when you get a little bit of time off from baseball activities in spring training, like, what are some things you do with some teammates not at the ballpark, and then what are some things that you do with your family away from the ballpark?
Yeah, I think that that's super important too. Because baseball is it's what we do. It's not really who we are. I mean, I am a baseball player, but I'm also a lot of other things too. I can wear a lot of hats. So with the fam, it's checking out parks, new parks, and then getting together with former teammates, other teammates that are on that I used to play with that are on different teams that have kids, and we're meeting up at someone's house or at a park. It's hitting the aquarium, the butterfly exhibit, kind of doing stuff for them because it's a lot about me, especially during spring training. I'm gone before they wake up, and then I get home and it's like dinner and then bed. So it's like, geez, like these days they go by so fast, and you're like, where are you, Dad? I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, but they understand that it's what I got to do for now. And then in terms of stuff with the teammates, yeah, it's like golf occasionally. Especially being out here in Arizona, where you basically pick your poison type course, like wherever you want to go, and the days are gorgeous. And then some hobbies. I like to, like you guys brought up earlier. I like to dabble in wine, so like learning how to make wine, and I do it a lot in the off season. Just learn and ask a ton of questions with winemakers I've befriended, and so that's a hobby. During the season, sometimes we'll go fish. Some people put up like got some good fishing spots. Yeah, so we just kind of mingle with where the wind blows me. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's fun. It's fun to just kind of do things organically. Like in Toronto last year, I went to a tennis match. I went to one of the big like National Bank Open things. Like I've never been to a tennis match, but Jan invited me. He's like, "Hey, you want to go to the tennis match?" I was like, "Sure." Like I don't know
That's sick.
anybody that's playing, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then you go there and you're like, "Dude, this is freaking tight." I got
Wait,
to
is
see the
Jan
number
a
one
tennis
player
guy
play.
then? Is he a
Oh
tennis
yeah,
fan?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
interesting.
Wow.
yeah.
That's cool.
We were sitting there. He was telling like all the etiquette stuff and like when they bounce the balls and they check them and then throw them
Yeah.
out, like all these like little nuanced rules. But yeah, so just like stuff like that. It just I think, and I've also learned to do that. Like before my first few years in pro ball, it was like baseball only, off day. Like I'm sitting in the apartment, not doing anything. And I was like, wow, I'm driving myself crazy. This is nuts. Go out and be a person, enjoy the
Right.
world. Like, I'm in these cool cities. Might as well like walk around and check it out and do cool things.
This is
Absolutely.
This is off script. This is kind of off script. You segue
Oh, here we
perfectly to our next
go.
question,
Yeah.
but I got to go off script here. I love snowboarding. Ian lives in Colorado. You snowboard, right?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Me?
No, dude. What?
Oh,
no, Ian. I was gonna ask
I
you,
run.
Patrick. Okay. Well, hey, I mean that kind of gets to the question. Like, obviously for fun, Patrick, like you could run, but you guys aren't going like snowboarding. Like, obviously you think about Tatis with the motorcycle accident a few years ago, right? During the off season. Are there things like written into contracts of like, hey, you guys can and can't do this? Or is it just kind of like expected that you guys know like how to maintain your bodies and look after yourselves? Because you're adults. I mean, you guys are adults, but like you strike me as somebody that would be like a snowboarder or a skier, like someone that like to hang out at the mountain or like maybe like at the beach and surf. But like,
There we go. Yeah, I'm more the beach guy.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
No, I mean I would. Yeah, so I think it's written into the contracts and like the verbiage they use, and basically like if you're not doing something that's like training or like for baseball and you get hurt, it could like cause an upward. Just like look at like Tatis or look at the Cespedes case when like fell off his horse or something. Like
right.
So random. But yeah, so no, I haven't touched the skis or snowboard. My wife's family, and they're huge skiers. Like, we take my girls skiing, got them on skis the last few years. I'm standing down there at the bottom of the magic carpet, like cheering them on. And so, I mean, I look forward to, when I'm done playing, we can do ski trips because, they love to do that. So, but for now, I'll chill at the lodge and stay warm.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You're doing the après ski all day. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either.
There you go.
Look,
yeah. See, there's a term for it. So I'm not the only one.
As someone who lives in Colorado, there's nothing wrong with hanging at the lodge. All right. That is my life.
Yeah.
Anytime I go to a mountain town, like,
yeah.
I don't want the snow.
Yeah. What's up with the frozen water? Like, if you put me by the beach now, like I'm going in the waves for sure. Like, yeah,
I like it.
I love it.
We have some pretty cool comments, and I'm going to segue into one of those and then segue into our next question here. But you're getting all sorts of love and praise in the comments here. One of them is a couple of the hardest balls ever hit that I've witnessed in person have come off Patrick's bat, especially that first homer against the Reds on the day before Memorial Day last season. So there you go. Everyone just marvels of the fact that you just destroy baseballs, which is great.
Wait, before we get I don't mean to hold this hostage, but I didn't have this down, but I wanted to ask, and that's the perfect segue to ask it. Did you know? So I was at the game where you broke the Cubs rookie home run record in Milwaukee. My buddy Mike and I were there, and it was one of those things, like kind of like Ron says here in the comments. Dude, the ball off your bat is just different. Like and I know it. Like you're probably too humble to say it, but like the ball off your bat, it's like you and guys like Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, the guys in the game now that are hitting the big tanks. You're one of them. Going into yeah, I mean, dude, hey, all three of us here wish we could do what you're doing, but going into like that, I mean, maybe not that game specifically, but were you aware was the Cubs rookie home run record something that you were aware of, or did you find out after the fact?
I wasn't aware until I got like close to tying it. Yeah. I was like, coming up in May, I was like, I don't get a couple of bats here and there, and then I started hitting homers, and I had like 6 homers with 8 RBIs, and I was like, just start hitting them with runners on. That'd be cool.
Yeah, right.
No, I didn't really know until I didn't even know it was like a thing until I started getting close and people started talking about it, and then it was cool that one that in Milwaukee the ball stayed up on that ledge for the rest of the game.
That's right.
So they're able to get it and authenticate it because even though there were like so much time had passed, they were still, because they're like, oh, we saw the ball the whole time, saw the guy get it and bring it to us. So
Oh,
It worked out
sick.
well.
Yeah, that's a great comment that we got in the comments here from our buddy Scott. The P-Wizzy for Home Run Derby campaign needs to start right now. Would you want to be in the Derby?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, Cubs fans
Yeah.
would love that, man. We would go berserk for Wisdom in the Derby.
Oh man, that'd be so cool. That would be awesome. I would love that. Yeah.
Absolutely. That would be stellar.
We'll start it on Cubs Twitter. We will get that ball rolling, man.
We'll get it trending right now. We're starting tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get that thing going. Where is the All-Star and Home Run Derby this year?
That's a good question.
I should probably figure that out first. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. If it were here, you'd be hitting them onto the highway. Here in Denver, it's the air just takes.
Oh yeah, the ball jumps there. I like playing in Denver. What a beautiful ballpark.
That's a good time.
Although I don't think I have any homers there. Just like balls off the wall.
It's a deep. I mean, the gaps are insane.
Yeah, the gaps are insane at Coors, but we just it's Beer Park. That's all it is.
A few years ago, I remember I hit a ball to right center, and I it felt like it does when it goes over the fence, and I was like, oh yeah, that perfect. And then I see like the center fielder getting close, and I was like, no way. And I start running faster, and then of course it goes right off the wall. I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
I only got a double, and then Willie Harris third.
It's nuts here.
It's like, boy, you should have been on third. I'm like, yeah, I know. I thought I was gonna be a homer.
Oh,
he's like, I know. I saw you watching it. No, but yeah, beautiful ballpark. Love playing there. Great city.
Well, in terms
we got
of
comments here that it's in Texas. It's in Texas.
Oh yeah,
the
Texas.
The new stadium.
Wow. Thanks, viewers. Yeah,
shouts out to the commenters. Thank you guys.
There you go.
Oh, Arlington. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the new ballpark there. Okay.
Yeah.
Inside. I mean, the ball flew at the old Texas stadium too. Wow.
Definitely.
We love so Napoli. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Napoli, first base coach for us. Sometimes we'll be in the cage down under, and like before our hitters meeting, we'll pull up like Mike Napoli highlights. He's launching balls. He'll walk down and be like, "Ooh, I remember this one." Like I go, Oppo. Sure enough, he's like, "Boom." Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's dude. Nap could bang, and I feel like that's something that I overlook. That he's the first base coach until you see that big ass beard when you guys are are standing on first base. It's like there he is.
Oh yeah, he'll stand in on some guys that are like gonna rehab or whatever, in Wrigley that on the IL, and then like, okay, now go on the mound. He's like, I'm getting in there. It's awesome. Yeah, he wants it. So I think he still has the itch, but
how could you not like being around the game? Like he retired what, like 4 years, like 2019, 18? It's not that long.
Yeah,
it's not that far removed.
Yeah. No, he's awesome. Like the best. Yeah, he's great.
That's
all
awesome.
Right. Back to your question. Sorry.
Well, no, it kind of segues into it because like when you do inevitably get to the home run derby because of the groundwork we're about to lay out, what's your walk-up song going to be like? And kind of segueing in, do you have a kind of music, as the resident musician in the group tonight, like, do you have music that you listen to, that kind of gets you in the zone, that pumps you up for a game?
Oh yeah, Whitney Houston for sure.
Absolutely.
No joke, for real. That's awesome.
Well, that's my walk-up song right now. Yeah.
Right.
Want to dance with somebody? Yeah. I mean, I think if I was when I'm in the Derby this year, I think I'm gonna be playing that song. I think it'll bump super loud in the dome, in Texas. Let that thing ride, like
absolutely.
Get the crowd just singing along. I think that, like, honestly, that's one of the coolest things. At Wrigley, they're playing it. I step in the box and they cut the music out, and I can still hear people hear people singing it, and I'm like, oh, that's so sick. Like that is so cool.
Can I wait? Speaking of walk-ups, can I try to plant the seed here real quick? Not necessarily for you, unless you want to. I want to hear "I Look Good" by OT Genesis as somebody's walk-up song, because for me, I don't know if you know that song, but for me, that song gets me like in the zone, and I feel like someone like Morel, it'd be perfect for someone like Morel. Yeah. Or if you want to put it on one of the rookies, I think it would suit PCA really well. And that could be something like, PCA, like this is, you got to have this as one of your like walk-up songs in the mix. And I think that he would get down. Like, I feel like that would suit his his style really
Is that
well. So
that's the one
I
that's
gotta
like
plant that.
it's the song that goes like I look good. Is it
No,
that?
it's I know that one. It's like I'm gonna make a fool of
I'm
myself.
gonna judge
I
you
look
so hard.
I
Right
look
now.
real good today. I look real
have a look
good
here.
today. It was actually
Oh
in
yeah.
it
Milwaukee
was
Park,
actually
the
in an
game we went
MLB
to.
commercial.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jeff?
Wasn't it
That would
somebody's
be
walk-up
funny.
song when we were at that game in Milwaukee?
It was somebody on the Brewers.
Bruce,
somebody on the
yeah.
Brewers had the song. Maybe like Adame may have had it, but
I think it was.
It's a banger, dude. I think about it all the time, like what my walk-up song would be. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. You guys get to you pick what plays over the speakers at Wrigley, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, granted, like you got to choose a good 10 seconds of the song. So
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
it makes it tough, but I think to Ian's question, music that gets me pumped. Sometimes it's rap, sometimes it's like EDM stuff, Kygo, Rufus, Tiesto, David Harris or Calvin Harris, sorry, stuff like that. And then sometimes it's just whatever the starting pitchers listen to in the locker room. Like it could be country, it could just be like whatever, like they don't care. Sometimes when Assad was starting, like it would be like Mexican music, and I'm like, hey, this is cool too. Like he's freaking singing the songs and like in his zone. I'm like, hey, I like that. Like let's go, okay. But yeah, music. I love music. I got on my phone just a plethora of genres and varieties, and my brother plays the guitar and a super good musician too, so a lot of his stuff, and he introduces me to like a ton of different stuff too, so
Cool.
yeah, I feel like I'm pretty well rounded when it comes to music. At my parents too, growing up and just showing me a bunch of different music, my mom being more disco, R&B, kind of genres, and my dad being like old school country and then like classic rock, and yeah, so I feel like I got all the bases covered, no pun intended.
Nice.
A good one.
One of the questions that we had here, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but like if you got a day off in the middle of you get back from a long road trip, you got a day off in Chicago, obviously, like I assume spending time with family, but I mean, maybe there's a highlight. Is there like a highlight day that you've had over the past couple seasons, rather than asking like what do you do generally? Like, is there like I don't know, maybe a memory of like an off day that was really cool over the last couple of years that you'd be happy, want to share on air?
Yeah, especially in the middle of the summer when it's warm, we like to get on the boat and just do cruise in the water and then cruise up the river, get some food, and go park, what they call the playground or something like that.
Yeah, the playpen.
Playpen, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm not an experienced guy out there on the water, so I don't know what they're called, but
Me either.
going there and just jumping in, and then those are some memorable times. And then if it's not on the boat, we go have a picnic on the beach and enjoy it there. So it's usually like around the water. It has to do with the water for sure. And then like good food. I mean, so much good food. It's sometimes overwhelming. You're like, man, I don't even know where to go. Like everything sounds good. You should create like a one-stop shop. I'm like, you want a little bit of this, you can have a little bit of that. Get everything.
You're onto something, man. Maybe you start that and you mix in the wine with it, and you get the wine pairings of the wine that you're making.
Let's go.
I mean,
Look at
Cubs
you.
fans would get down with that.
Oh, for sure. Okay, I like where your head's at, Jake. Yeah.
Hey, if you need a graphic designer for any of the logos and stuff, I know a guy.
Okay. Noted.
Yeah. So one thing that I've always wanted to ask an MLB player, because I've always I think there's been a lot of really good stuff, and I'm keeping an eye on time here too. This is the last one that we have on here.
You're fine.
And
You're good. The kids are asleep, so you guys are good.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Would you please send tips on how to get your kids to sleep to Kevin, our other guy on the podcast, because he seems to struggle with getting kids to bed?
Oh, I'm not saying it's an easy feat. I'm just saying that, like, they're asleep.
I always recommend NyQuil to Kevin to get his kids.
Oh yeah, that's kosher, right?
Yeah.
Jeff is not a parent.
He's
Jeff
so,
doesn't have
so
kids, and
loopy.
that's obvious. Yeah.
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 Reading, singing songs, just try to pull a new trick each night. Something works one night, doesn't work the next night. Like, all right, well, you gotta adapt. But no, our kids are good sleepers, so it works out. Yeah, we're lucky.
That's good. Yeah, Kevin says in the comments, I don't take parenting advice from Jeff, and that's but Patrick has some good advice there.
Yeah.
But I do one thing that I've always been curious about, and I think this was really cool a couple seasons ago, Cubs Productions put together like a series of videos about the starters and kind of like the 5 days. So like this, what starters go through on their off days. Like game planning is a really great video with Borzello and Hendricks, like talking about game planning, and then a little bit about working out. But there hasn't been an angle on position players. And one thing that I've always been curious about, like we already hit on, you're playing a long season, man. Like I play one game a week in my men's league, and I'm like cash for a week, especially if I throw. And you guys are doing this day in, day out. Obviously, it's best shape of their life season, right? You see guys coming to the ballpark, at spring training, and guys in crazy shape compared to where they were end of the previous season. I imagine that you can't, because of the length and the strain of the season, you can't keep up that same level of weightlifting. So day in and day out, like what kind of workouts are you trading for the strength training, or are you still doing a little bit of that during the season to kind of maintain your physicality and keep yourself ready to go on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, it's super important, but super hard to maintain. So I think it's being diligent about the workload too. Knowing like, you're playing every single day. You don't need to be in the gym, crushing yourself because you got to go out and play. But there's, an angle that you need to get in there and kind of maintain movement prep, stuff like that to keep you on the field. And I think if you were to ask guys who play, 159 to 160, 161, 162, I feel like that window, they would tell you that they probably do some sort of movement stuff, maybe not like lifting the house, and they're not, killing themselves in the gym, but they are doing something to keep them out there. Because if not, then it's just going to keep wearing on you, and you're not going to address the things that are nagging. So I mean, there is also too, like Nico and I talk about it. There's like once you get into the season, and maybe like the second month, or and then obviously the middle, there's like a general soreness that is like you're constant, and you're like, yep, like this, I'm supposed to be sore like this. This is the norm. And then you do your things in the weight room or in the training room, get yourself ready, and you're like, yep, boom, I'm fresh, ready to go for the game. But it becomes the new norm. Like you're like, okay, I'm supposed to feel like this. And it's not like I'm hurting or like, oh, I'm sore, I can't get out of bed. It's just like, yep, like I'm playing, and these are like, I've been playing a lot. This is just how I'm supposed to feel. And then you start to feel good with that. So I mean, it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to explain, but you kind of just get used to that general soreness. Because and obviously for him, playing up the middle is a lot different than playing a corner. Sure. Him stealing bases and being on base all the time. It's a lot of work. But for me, I like to work out. I like to be in there, whether that's light explosive days or mixing a couple heavy days. So I think each person's different.
For sure. Yeah, that's good stuff. That base, the baseline, that's interesting, because then once you experience, I'm sure experiencing that for the first time is important. You talk about like pitchers with workload, building up innings every season. Like our buddies at On Tap, our sister podcast, Cubs on Tap, they had Steele on last week, and Steele was talking about like upping his innings load and wanting to break 180 this season. And he knows, based on last year's full workload, as you do, you're kind of hitting on as a position player, what your body can handle, how your body's supposed to feel. And I think what you were alluding to is like, like on that day where you wake up and like your back is sore, that's out of the norm, because you've established a baseline of how your body feels over the 162 game season. Yeah.
For sure. Yep. Totally right. You hit it on the head right there.
Right on. Well,
Yeah.
we'll wrap things up here. I guess we'll kind of end it with, man, we're super excited to watch you play this season. Watch the boys play. New acquisitions. Obviously, Shota. We're excited to see him on the bump. Ian, for the listeners, Ian's just pointing. He's got the Wisdom jersey on. What are you most excited for this season? Obviously, a very broad question, but this is what now year 3 with the Cubs, or is this year 4?
Yeah.
I should have known. Year 3.
This will be year 4. Well,
Year 4.
I signed in August of 2020.
That's right.
And I was up for 2 games.
COVID.
Yeah. So then 21, 22, 23, 4th season. Yeah, if you're not counting COVID. So, hey, thanks, Ron. Appreciate you. And Kevin, thank you. I'm excited for, this season, honestly, and everything that comes with it, because I think another year with this group only is going to help us grow off the field too, and in that clubhouse. And I think that'll translate onto the field. Counsell talked a little bit about it in our meeting today, and it's just coming together as a team. And I think that's going to be huge. Obviously, that helps year after year when you're playing with guys, and the more experience you have with those teammates. And then that way, when the acquisitions come in, they kind of fall in line, if you will,
Sure.
Or they just see what's going on. They see the culture and they're like, oh, sick. Okay. I'm going to jump right in and be a part of this, and that, like I said, that comes with, experiencing the seasons with the guys that are on the team. So I'm excited to get to the season with these guys. I'm excited for spring training to start, and, mix in with these guys, play on the field with them, hang out with them in the clubhouse, in the weight room, and off the field, get to know them, especially the new guys, but also continuing the established relationships.
For sure.
So, yeah, I'm excited to get out there and play. I think we're going to be really good. Also, I think to that point about it being experienced with the group, there's a comfortability with playing with one another and a confidence playing with one another. That only grows year after year, and so I'm excited for this squad and to see what we can do, because coming so close last year was such a heartbreaker, and we knew how good we were, and so I think this year, knowing that we were so close, I think we know now what it takes, and we can even push the envelope a little further. So I'm excited for it all. I know, like you said, it's a broad question, and I kind of gave a broad answer, but that's what it's about. It's exciting. It's exciting times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Brendan Miller. Yeah, the hair. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Is the mustache coming back this year?
Yeah, the mustache. The mustache, man. What determines when and when? Does the wife weigh in on that? Because I know the wife weighs in on whether or not I should keep my mustache when I get it going.
Yeah. She's a fan of it. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
She doesn't mind it at all.
Okay.
So yeah, not battling with her on it. It's spur of the moment. Yeah. So you never know when it comes out and when it'll go away, and yeah, I like to keep it a surprise. Mitch. Wait, go put that back. My son wanted to ask you to keep your flow looking strong all season long, because that baby, some nice lettuce, a nice little flow bucket. Well, I don't know what hockey guys, they all have these cool terms for it. It's flow.
We need to get you on Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, So you guys are great with the marketing ploys. I love it.
Yeah, they're not an ad. We'd love them to be an advertiser, but we're not.
There you go.
Patrick, thank you so much, man. We're super excited for this season. Good luck this spring. Say hi to the guys for us. We're both with all of them, right? We're on a first name basis with all those guys. And man, we'll be out at Wrigley this year, I know, and excited to see you launch some bombs, some dingers into the bleachers this summer, man.
Yeah, me too. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. This is super fun. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you being on the show, especially since it's day one of you punching into work today.
Yeah, let's go. Got a couple of beats today, and yeah, so we're golden. Let's go. No, what a fun way to kick it off too. So, thank you guys for thinking of me.
Yes, no,
Right
thank
on,
you.
man.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go.
All
Let's
right,
go.
let's
Go
go.
Cubs.
Don't forget my homer on Friday.
Yeah. No,
Mitch, if
Noted.
you're listening, you've got to end the stream.
Yeah.
Mitch.
You can just,
It's
the awkward smile. Hey.
yeah, we'll cut this out.